Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Let's start from the beginning. We're on some new radio stations, and I realize that some people may not have ever heard of the Prophecy Club, nor my call and what God has asked me to do. So let's start from the beginning. It was about 1988. I was teaching a class in Lawrence, Kansas on Bible prophecy. And at the time, I was working in how do I say this? Okay, for 13 years, I used to be a public speaking instructor and a sales course instructor and a management course instructor, and I did that, and I never, ever thought I would ever be called to full-time ministry. But after I had taught this one class on Sunday, this lady walked up and handed me a tape, and she said, "I think you'll be interested in this." Well, as I was driving home, I listened to it, and it was an audio tape of the testimony of Dumitru. Now, remember that name because he is the greatest prophet that has ever been sent to America. And unfortunately, when God talks, it is not normally good. So I knew before I even got to the end that this was really God. Now, what was he saying? Well, what you really want to do is call Prophecy Club 785-266-1112 or go online to prophecyclub.com and get the book and the DVD so you can investigate it yourself. The DVD is called Wake Up America, and the book is called Prophecies of the Fall of America. Now, I understand if you're new, you may not have enough information to call and to get that, which of course would be a very big mistake. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you in about 2 or 3 minutes the essential overall message. Now, this was a guy, a pastor, Dumitru, and he pastored a church in Romania. Again, he didn't know that God was going to have a special call in his life either. And in the process, he got to smuggling Bibles, and I'm going to skip all the long story. Perhaps here in a few weeks, I'll put more detailed story on the air. But essentially, he had been smuggling Bibles into Romania and Russia for some 30 years. Finally, he was arrested. Now, they never caught him. They never got the Bibles. But they arrested him. They put him through 5 months of torture, culminating in them one day they came to him and said, "Dumitru, come here. We want to show you something." They took him into another room, and they showed him a very unusual chair. And they said, "Dumitru, you see this chair? We brought this all the way from Germany just for you. Now, you're going to tell us how you get those Bibles through, or you're going to die on that chair." He said, "Even if I die, I have nothing to tell you." He said, "They put me on the chair. They strapped me down." I'm going to skip the details. "They turned the electricity on." And he said, "I thought I was going to die." He said, about that time, the whole room lit up with white light. And he said, the angel Gabriel appeared. And the angel said, "Dumitru, look at me." He said, "I'm the angel Gabriel. I'm the messenger of heaven." He said, "I've been sent to help you." He said, "Don't worry." He said, "You're not going to die." He said, "You're going to America to give them a warning from God. Plead the blood of Jesus." So he started saying, "Singululu Jesus, Singululu Jesus," which is Romanian for the blood of Jesus. He said he woke up on the floor. They were pouring water on him and slapping him around. They couldn't kill him. The next day, they put him back on the electric chair. Same thing again. Same thing. The angel Gabriel appeared. "Dumitru, don't worry. You're not going to die. Plead the blood of Jesus." He said they couldn't kill him. Now, I'm skipping a lot of the story, obviously. The angel came to him, healed him up, and he said, "Now, so that you know that I'm truly the angel of God," and that's the reason God put him through this. A lot of folks out there want to say, "Oh, God talked to me," and they didn't. God didn't talk to them. Well, when a guy can sit on the electric chair, not once, but twice, and they can't kill him, I'm going to say that's a pretty good reason we need to listen to him, but there's more. So 3 months later, the angel came to him, healed him all up, and he said, "All right, now, so that you know I'm truly the angel of God, I'm going to tell you the year, month, day, and hour you're going to be exiled to America. July 22nd, 1984, 10 o'clock in the morning." He said, "For 4 years I carried Bibles, and they couldn't catch me. I'd pull up to the checkpoint. They'd open my trunk, throw the Bibles around. 'What are you doing with all these books? Where are the Bibles? We know you have Bibles. Who brings them to you? Who do you take them to? How do you get them through?' And they couldn't find them. They couldn't catch them. So finally the day came. July 22nd, 1984, exactly as the angel had said. They came knocking on the door. What are you doing with the suitcases? Well, we knew you were coming. They took him to the airport, and just as the plane is backing up, exactly as the angel said, July 22nd, 1984, 10 o'clock in the morning. He came to America. I'm skipping a lot of the story. The angel came to him again. He said, Dumitru, get beside me. And he said the angel showed him all of California, Las Vegas, New York, and Florida. He said, you see what I've shown you? He said, this is Sodom and Gomorrah. And one day it will burn. He said, how will it burn? America is so powerful. He said, the fall of America, listen very carefully, the fall of America will start with an internal revolution, started by the communists. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. The government will be busy with internal problems. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and 2 other countries will attack and defeat America in one day. Now, there's more to that story. Again, get the DVD, get the book, and read all about it. Again, the greatest prophet ever sent to America, with a warning that God is going to destroy this nation. Now, you may be saying, can you give me more proof that this is really God talking? All right, so when I get home with this audio tape, I write him a letter, and I ask him to come and speak at the Full Gospel Businessmen in Lawrence, Kansas. The guy, I was asking him to talk for one evening for 1 hour. He wrote back and said, I'll come for 2 weeks. I thought, 2 weeks? What am I going to do with this guy for 2 weeks? Well, 3 months later, by the time he got there, God had supernaturally filled his schedule. I was as busy as 2 weeks, he said, of his entire ministry, and I drove him around to talk at like 6 different churches, 6 or 7 different Christian groups, Full Gospel Businessmen and such, and radio stations, and also a TV station, and he gave his testimony. Now, it was God showing me what a real prophet looked like, sounded like, act like, what the prophecy from God really look and sound like themselves. Why? Because many pastors are afraid to talk about anything outside of the accepted Genesis to Exodus book of the Bible. They don't believe God is talking today. So he showed me how to recognize when God is really speaking. And I've just made a new DVD, and I beg you, call or go online and get this DVD. In 22 years of being in Bible prophecy ministry, this is probably one, without question, one of the top 5 DVDs that has ever been made at the Prophecy Club. Obviously, number 1 is still going to be Wake Up America by Dumitru. He arrives, the angel says the fall of America is going to start with an internal revolution, started by the communists. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. The government will be busy with internal problems. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and 2 other countries will attack and defeat America in one day, in 1 hour. Such great riches will come to naught. So in 1993, I had a radio station call me and ask me if I would be willing, and I'm cutting this story short, to do a 15-minute radio program on Bible prophecy. That started the Prophecy Club. And since then, actually going back to 1988, I've been doing the very best I can to possibly tell as many people as possible to understand this message, to understand that God is going to destroy this nation. Now, another reason we can believe this is we know that it rained 40 days and 40 nights. So we know that the number 40 is associated with judgment. The angel first came to Dumitru in 1980, and he said, you have 4 more years to carry Bibles. They will follow you step by step, but I'll be ahead of you, and I will blind their eyes. And when they see they can't catch you, they're going to kick you out of your country. July 22nd, 1984 at 10 o'clock in the morning. And exactly as the angel had told him, that's what happened. But the point is, God first spoke the judgment on America in the year 1980. So if you add 40 years to that, that comes up to what? The year 2020. Now that means that our 40 years of warning is up in the year 2020, meaning that America can be destroyed anytime They're at or thereafter, meaning anytime around 2020 or 2021. Now, there's one more point. November the 11th of 1620, when our forefathers pulled into the Princetown Harbor, and they made a covenant that we today call the Mayflower Covenant. And this covenant says they're going to start a new nation, quote, for the furtherance of the Christian faith. God accepted that covenant. And like there was 400 years of covenant with Israel when they were down in Egypt, and then he said after 400 years you're going to come out with great substance. Apparently, God gave America 400 years of covenant, starting November the 11th of 1620. Now, if you add 400 years to that, that comes up also to the year 2020, meaning America can be destroyed anytime in 2020 or 2021. Now for the third witness. I talked to Terry Bennett, and the story on Terry Bennett is back in 2001, he says that the angel Gabriel came to him over a series of several visits and told him that there's 3 sets of 7 years coming to the world, and told him what would take place in the first set of 7 years, which were the years 2008 to 2015. Gave him many specifics. They all came to pass. I'm skipping that for this broadcast. Again, get the DVD called 2014 to 2021 at prophecyclub.com. We'll be right back after this message. Legally, we can't guarantee this trouble will come this year, but of course, having emergency supplies is a good idea. Mina Grebin says she was told to tell everyone to have at least 1 year's food and supplies, including water, and you must have all preparations done by the end of the 2015 summer. She says buy food and supplies. We offer Plan A, 3 meals a day, 1 person, 1 year. Plan B, 1 person, 6 months. Plan C, 1 person, 3 months, or a grab-and-go bucket with 72 meals. Call 800-924-7110 or go to prophecyclubfood.com. That's 800-924-7110 or prophecyclubfood.com. And now, back to the program. Again, get the DVD called 2014 to 2021 at prophecyclub.com. Or you can also call 785-266-1112. Easier to order it online. prophecyclub.com. Just spell prophecy with a C, not an S, or you wind up in some other hole out there someplace. prophecyclub.com. He told him, the first 7 years, here's what's going to happen from 2008 to 2015. Second set of 7 years, here's what's going to happen. 2014, 2021. Third set of 7 years, here's what's going to happen, 2021 to 2028. And everything in 2008 to 2015 has come to pass with exception of a new currency coming out. Now, I already told you there's about to be a global currency reset taking place this fall. They're going to pay off all government debt and banking debt on the globe overnight without warning. Now that sounds good, and there will be a brief time of rejoicing for some people. But for the most part, it's going to be a disaster. There's about to be a financial disaster. Now, when I say that, I've got to give you that disclaimer. I cannot guarantee a word of what I'm saying about this global currency reset. I have never seen it in writing. It comes from several reliable sources, but I can't guarantee it. So do not make any financial decisions based upon what I'm saying in this program. Now, with that in mind, they're going to come out with a new currency. It's going to be called a TRN, and I don't have time in this broadcast to get into that in a whole lot of detail. Again, get the DVD. That's the point. I mean, I would love to be able to just put this out for free all on the radio. But I got charts. I've got a lot of things you got to see. You just have to see it to get it. You have to think through it. I'm going to say you're going to have to watch this DVD several times because there's so many details. Okay. All right, that brings up another question. So what's in the DVD? All right, let me give you the overview. This is the explanation. The name of the DVD that I want you to get is called 2014 to 2021. And it is what the predictions of 2 cows and 13 modern prophecies are saying is going to be taking place between the years 2014 and 2021. I know what you're thinking. 2 cows, what are you talking about? Again, get the DVD. I explain it to you. Look, there was 7 cows that were fat, and then in the rest of the dream, there was 7 cows that were lean. And that was a very, very powerful prophecy in Egypt back in the days of Joseph and the Pharaoh. And it told them that there was going to be 7 years of plenty, followed by 7 years of famine. And that caused the wealth of the entire surrounding area to all come into Egypt and made Egypt the wealthiest, strongest nation on earth at the time. Well, there's about to be 7 years of plenty, followed by 7 years of famine, what we will call the tribulation. That's right. You know, all that stuff in Revelation and Daniel? It is no longer coming. You don't realize it or not, but you're already in the last days. Now, you're not in the tribulation yet, but you are in the last 7 years of plenty. And I explain that to you in the DVD. And we ask a gift of $30, but if I was asking what it's really worth, I would probably be asking a gift of $2,000. It is that important. I'm begging you, get this DVD 2014 to 2021 at prophecyclub.com. Also, go to prophecyclubfood.com because Mina Grebin was told to tell everybody that they need to get at least 1 year's food and water, and that they need to get it by the end of the summer. Now, likewise, I got to give you a disclaimer there too. Cannot prove a word of that. You should not make any financial decisions based upon what I'm saying in this broadcast. Now, having said that, let me continue to tell you the bullet points of what is in this DVD. First of all, everything in this DVD is in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. The Bible says you can't convict anybody of anything of just one thing happening. It's got to be in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses. Second thing I want to say is, I'll give you another disclaimer. I did not predict anything, or my wife did not predict anything in this DVD. None of it comes from me except the 7 signs leading to the fall of America, which my wife was told and still stands behind. And the other thing is the series of explosions I was shown that we still stand behind and still believe is coming. So here are the bullet points for the DVD 2014 to 2021. First, September 25th, 2014 began the last 7 years of plenty. Yeah, I know you need some explanation on that. That's the purpose of the DVD. Then the 7-year tribulation will take place from the years 2022 to 2028. Again, all this, you got to see charts. You got to understand stuff to understand this. Get the DVD. I just can't explain it on the radio. September 25th of 2015, the Pope will announce the forming of a world government, the New World Order. Yeah, I know, we've heard about it for years, but it's no longer coming, brothers and sisters. It's here. This fall, there will be a global currency reset. And that's what the secular boys call it. The Christians call it a jubilee. And it's going to be good for some, bad for most of the world. And that will cause the welfare checks to stop. Again, I explain all this in the DVD. Then protesters are going to get mad. They're going to go out protesting, holding up signs. Shane Warren was even shown in a vision. The signs say, we want our entitlements. Okay, they feel like they're entitled to have these checks sent to them every month, welfare checks and the like. But their protests don't get the checks coming. So consequently, they will then start burning the cities. Now, look, this is not just 1 or 2 people saying this. Many times I've got 4 and 5 and 6 different people in dreams or visions, either prophets or holy servants of God, that saw the same thing. What I'm telling you is not my opinion. Again, I know what a real prophet looks like, acts like, sounds like. I know what a real prophecy from God looks like, acts like, sounds like. I know. That's what God introduced me to Dumitru and Henry Gruver. And I mean, we've had 150 guest speakers over the last 22 years make over 300 DVDs. I am not new to the world of Bible prophecy. I've made 32 DVDs on it. I made a DVD on Revelation, verse by verse. Daniel, verse by verse. Joel, verse by verse. Amos, verse by verse. The next 9/11, oil and judgment. I mean, 32 of them. So when I'm saying this, I'm not trying to be cute. I'm not trying to impress you. I'm trying to tell you, America, you are in trouble. You don't know it, but if drowning represents the end of the tribulation, you don't understand it, but you're already in water up to the ankles. You're already in the last days. I mean, the birth pains have already begun. Now, let me go on. So the protesters start burning the cities. This is not just Ferguson and Baltimore. This is all across the land. Many, many, many cities. I mean, it's like total chaos, like a breakdown of society is what these prophets have seen. Again, get the DVD. It'll tell you, okay? Look, you can't always be chinchy, okay? You can't always just think you're going to get it all free on radio. I would love to give it all. I mean, I would love to give it all to all the people free. But I can't explain this on radio. You just got to get the DVD, guys. I mean, I want to tell you, that's my heart. If I could give it away to everybody free and still be able to reach America, I would. So it's not about money. I'm trying to tell America she's in trouble. She doesn't know. She's in trouble. The average American doesn't know. God is really upset with this nation. Now, God is love. I understand that. But what we don't understand is Jesus is the righteous judge. And if you don't know that side of God, then that's another topic for another broadcast. But let's continue going. So the cities start burning. Then martial law will be declared by Obama. Now, that's wonderful because that does a couple of things he loves. One is that suspends the Constitution. With no Constitution in place, that means you have no right to remain silent, no right to an attorney, no right to be charged or released within 48 hours. That also means that he gets to stay in office for up to 5 years. In other words, we'll never see another free America like we have today. It's all about to go away. Explained in the DVD 2014 to 2021, prophecyclub.com or 785-266-1112. After the Constitution is suspended, we got a whole group of people out there that are going to get really mad at that. See, they took an oath. They swore to protect the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And local militias will form. That's the real purpose behind your Jade Helm. Now, if you haven't heard about the Jade Helm, if you look, just go to Google. Just type in Jade Helm. That's Jadehelm. And this is what the acronym means. Jade, Joint Assisted Deployment and Execution. Okay, that doesn't sound so bad, but listen to the next one. Helm, Helm, stands for Homeland Extermination of Local Militias. No, I'm not kidding, and I've confirmed that several places. Now, let me read that again. Homeland Extermination of Local Militias. Lindsey Williams was told by his elite that they do not want any trouble or any protests or any riots as they move into their world government, their new world order. But the purpose and the reason they are putting pre-positioned military men and military equipment through Jade Helm under the premise of being an exercise, which, by the way, started today as I'm recording this, July the 15th, is if America does not accept their new world order, and they won't, and if Americans begin to protest, they will already have military in position. Now, this exercise, this Jade Helm, takes place from July 15th to August 15th. So you want to guess when all this trouble starts, that's right, after they've had time to practice, they've got all the kinks out, they're all ready to go, they're ready to have an imminent military takeover of America, then the global currency reset hits, the welfare checks stop, protesters start burning the cities thinking they're going to do something, but there's Jade Helm. Now, I'm just reading through the bullet points here. Guess what happens when the local militias pull out their shooting arms and start firing at all of the Obama men? That's right. Obama jumps up and says, well, if you're going to fire at us, we're going to have to confiscate those weapons. That's right. Door-to-door confiscation of weapons is coming. Now, I don't have a second word on that. I don't have a second voice on that. But I got 7 scriptures in the Bible. Again, I cover this in the DVD, 2014 to 21. 7 scriptures in the Bible that will show you the guns, hear me now, will be collected in America. They will get the guns. I'm saying again, they will get the guns. Then, an unarmed America, Russia attacks. And Obama runs to the red phone to surrender, as he's probably part of it. At least if you believe in T.D. Hale and his dreams, that's what they're saying. Unfortunately, the Russians don't answer because one person saw that the bombing goes on for 3 days, I believe. Somebody asked me, sent me an email. By the way, you can email me at askstan@prophecyclub.com. But I couldn't find out. But I remember off the top of my head, somebody saw it was 3 days the bombing goes on. Then after America has surrendered, and on the DVD, I even give you what one person was shown in a dream, the surrender speech that is given. America, as you have known it, has ceased to exist. All property lines are dissolved, and the dollar is worthless. Guess what happens then? Then they set the goal to remove Christians from the planet, especially America. And the Christian martyrdom begins fulfilling the verses in the Bible. Talk about that. 2014 to 2021 is the DVD I've been talking about today. You can get it at prophecyclub.com, 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 or call 785-266-1112. Again, Mina Grebin was told that everybody needs to have a year's worth of food and water, and you need to get it before the end of the summer. Again, remember my disclaimer on that. And you can get it through prophecyclubfood.com or by calling 800-924-7110. That's 800-924-7110 or prophecyclubfood.com. Get the DVD at prophecyclub.com. Get the food at prophecyclubfood.com. Plan A, 1 person 1 year. Plan B, 1 person 6 months. Plan C, 1 person 3 months. 800-924-7110 or prophecyclub.com for the DVD or prophecyclubfood.com for the food. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your prayers, and thank you for your gifts of support. God bless. Now from the Prophecy Club, some exciting opportunities for you. Legally, we can't guarantee this trouble will come this year, but of course, having emergency supplies is a good idea. Mina Grebin says she was told to tell everyone to have at least 1 year's food and supplies, including water, and you must have all preparations done by the end of the 2015 summer. She says buy food and supplies. We offer Plan A, 3 meals a day, 1 person 1 year. Plan B, 1 person 6 months. Plan C, 1 person 3 months, or a grab-and-go bucket with 72 meals. Call 800-924-7110 or go to prophecyclubfood.com. That's 800-924-7110 or prophecyclubfood.com. It's time for our summer blowout. You can get 20 DVDs for a gift of $160. That's only $8 each. 10 for a gift of $100. That's $10 each. 7 for a gift of $120. That's $17 each. 4 DVDs for a gift of $85, that's $21 each, or 2 DVDs for a gift of $50, $25 each, but you got to call 785-266-1112. That's 785-266-1112, and the offer ends soon.